Hi, today I'd like to talk about recycling and what happens to product when it gets back to a recycling facility, or a legitimate recycling facility for that matter. You know, products are confusing. Packaging is difficult nowadays. There's so much packaging it makes it very hard to recycle some items. It's just very time consuming. Just wanted to point out a couple little things here. For example, let's talk about packaging for a second. This is a toy that came in from overseas. And just this one particular toy has about, let's see here. Well, it has the cardboard, which is laminated, which doesn't make it very friendly for recycling. It has a paper card, which is a different material. It has this plastic, which is a different material. And then, of course, it has the toy, which is a different material. All of that needs to be separated to legitimately be recycled. That's a lot of work. Let's just take cable, for example, okay? Well, cable's great to recycle. Problem is that it's insulated. This insulation, this black insulation, covers the copper wiring inside, and once you get through this, even that little copper wiring is usually covered in more insulation. So once again, very complicated, but it has to be done, something that we do. For example, a toner cartridge. How do you recycle this? Everyone thinks you just pour it out, you pour new stuff in. It's definitely not that easy, and there's a lot more to the toner and ink recycling industry than most people know. But you have a very dirty, problematic material inside of this. You have a cartridge with a couple different materials, the lid, the wrapper, and this. Very complex, very complicated. How do you do it? Well, these are things that we do here at eCycle Environmental. What about paper? Just paper in general. We all take it for granted. We all put the paper out at the stoop, get things recycled. What about the ink? What about the ink that's on this to get that cleaned off, to get it back to a state for pulp recycling? That's complicated. That involves a process of bleaching that ink off to get the paper back into a pulp. Once again, very complex. Just simply trying to draw a picture here of how complicated it is. Standard laptop. Okay, it's met its end of life. It's no longer usable, can't really do anything with it. The screen's actually shot and the computer's actually having a tremendous amount of problems. Well, what do you do with it? How do you recycle this? How do you break it down? How do you separate the materials? Those are all things that we do here at eCycle Environmental. But very complex, everything I showed you, and it goes on and on and on. Thousands of different materials, millions of different materials, and in some cases you'll have one product that has 7, 8 different types of material in it. All needs to be separated for recycling.